Hello, I'm TMP, Pyro for Stag Party, and today I'm going to be doing a demo review of a 4v4 tournament that's currently going on. It's my first match in 4v4, and I did pretty well in it, so I figure I'll just go over some of the stuff. In 4v4, Pyro is often used because most of the classes using it, Pyro has decent counters too. You don't have two scouts to counter the Pyro as well, so unlike in 6s, where speed is everything, in 4v4, things just typically go in a way since the Pyro is a bit more viable. So let's begin. I'm going to be covering exactly what I do and what I think in the process and what I should be doing, and let's go. Start off, this map is Coalplant. It's essentially Asheville if you know Asheville, but it's basically prettier. I like it a bit more. It's a bit more compact. And those played EST last season. To start off in this mid, I don't know how aggressive my team is going to go. I'm trying to play really passively, as you can see, and I'm just retreating instead of going to. And for the most part, my team just dies around. It gets the enemy scout, but for the most part, I don't have much options, so I just retreat off. I'm really low on ammo, so I just try to live. And for the most part, I just try to find ammo on this map because I'm not very familiar with it. As he crits it, and I'm already so far behind their lines trying to find ammo that I'm safe, and I'm pretty sure the scout's gonna die at the moment to it soon. For the most part, I just try to play some kind of proactive thing and not die, but I end up wasting most of my ammo to do that. It's kind of bad in this situation because I'm really ammo starving. I don't know the ammo locations on this map quite yet. At this point, you can see what I'm doing. I'm approaching with my team, trying to give them an opening. Them man, I'm trying to always be in front of my team now. That's something I typically try to get out into a lot. But it doesn't work out very well as a scout is behind us, and no one noticed it. And the scout pretty much wipes our team, so I can't really do anything to stop that. I mean, I could have, but I was in the wrong position. At this point, I noticed they have a crit screed already charged, so I'm really wary. I don't think I've died yet at this point, but I haven't had much impact either. I'm wary. I don't know how much impact I should be applying since it's my first match in 4v4. So at this point, I see the demo man wide open, and I just go on it. That's just something I do in Highlander a lot. I try to move myself in a way so that I don't die, and I get the med. But I'm going to end up dying here most likely to something. Probably a scout. Nope, it's actually dead now. But I still am in a bad position in die groups. That's not what I want. I'm assuming I'm changing some setting or something like that in the meantime right there. But for the most part, I'm coming back, rolling out right side because it's the quickest to where my team is. And I'm noticing my team is trying to take the point. But the scout is giving us a lot of health, so I'm having to choice between go for the scout or pressing him off the point. I think I choose pressing him off the point because I'm a bit more comfortable doing that. I can't catch up to the scout quite as well, so it's much more beneficial for me just to knock him off the point. Giving that gave me an opportunity to go after the medic back there, which I heard that they were on bats, and I think my demo man are on scout. But it doesn't work out very well because we don't have the classes up to defense from our scout. Our scout isn't quite so good at killing off scouts, so we don't have the opportunity to just completely face roll them like I would hope that we would. So we end up losing most of our people there while still gaining the point. That's not exactly something you want on King of the Hill map because of the difference in spawn times. If you don't earn the point, typically on King of the Hill maps you have a much shorter respawn.
The control point is being contested.
At this point they're running Vaccinator, and they're forced, because of our team composition, to switch up between different types. At this point I can't fight the scout legitimately, but I'll talk more about the Vaccinator after I die to him. The key with the Vaccinator is that it's good whenever there's only a few sources of damage, which is pretty often in this mode. There's typically only like for instance, they're running mostly soldier, demoman, and scout, so they have a lot of explosive resistance. So we can run Vaccinator, primarily explosive resistance, and deal with that. However, we have fire damage, bullet damage, and explosive damage in terms of demoman, scout, and pyro. So we're a triple threat. It's hard to run Vaccinator against this whenever we're all attacking at the same time. At this point, I'm just playing around, noticing where the ammo is in this map. And I'm playing back at this point because I think there's scouts going to come from behind us. I'm not quite sure why. I don't think we had some call or something like that where he was. But at this point, I hear their ride. I'm always trying to play aggressively against them. That's just the way how I play. And I probably should have played behind. And it would have been a lot safer for us. Because I'm pretty sure I died. Yeah, I did. But at the same time, our Dome Man gets some nice picks. We managed to hold off this point for some more time.
In 60 seconds.
For the most part, at this point, I'm thinking I'm dying a bit too much, probably. I'm not getting much benefit out of my lives, and it's just really painful. So we do decide to switch up to the vaccinator at this point. They'd run it to no success, really, but we don't have much time left in the clock, so the vaccinator's charge, picking up like just under 10 seconds is very helpful. Plus, since they are running both explosives, you see our medic on explosive resistance. And that's pretty much negating most of the damage that's done to him. So we're able to just play back a bit. I'm trying to lead our medics to this medkit right here. And then come up from behind. And then some sticky trap, I'm glad my medic did that. But for the most part, I take the sticky trap to propel myself into him, and then I go after the medic. Unfortunately, I think my FPS is bad while I'm doing this. Because I wasn't getting this bad FPS whenever I was playing. But for the most part, I pretty much just aim to go for the medic, and they end up both standing off the cap while it keeps going down chasing the medic, and it gives us the first round. I'm going to explain a weakness in this lineup that we have, and that is, since they're running Soldier, Scout, and Demoman, they have a lot more presence in the initial fight. The Soldiers are able to get there quicker, although it's significantly running Soldiers is a lot more terrible at everything. But they elect to go the same loadout we do, probably because they're having a lot of issues with me. And so they elect to go to shotgun. Their Pyro goes down really quickly, and for the most part we had a big advantage, and then I think our med died. Just something, I'm not sure. But for the most part, we're just rolling out middle, doing our stuff. Just trying to find a good place to go. Our scout goes down. I don't like pushing into this. I think I died over. Yeah, I do. Stickies in that range are basically impossible to reflect, so I don't have any option in terms of my death. So they're running there. And because I die, they have an opportunity to just M1 into us. Since we don't have any close range threat, they can just run their scout in, and that just completely destroys our Demoman combo. I think I just got lucky there with the scout for the most part. I didn't know where he was, but I can just roll out right because I figured our scout was somewhere near our backs. So at this point they crits, and we as a team don't have a right thought process. Our medic didn't realize that we were going to run directly into them, so he ran back a bit, which is fine to do, but it just didn't work out so well. I expected the medic actually to be there whenever I jumped down, so my thought process there was to cut off the medic's retreat. I just ended up getting a scout there because he was just randomly out there. At this point, we have the point, we've only lost a minute on it, so it's not too bad. He runs right into the sticky trap, a Demoman. And since there's no Demoman, I feel really confident about just going in there and running them. And they don't even have a soldier, so I'm really safe. There's literally nothing close range that can deal with me. Except for a vac resisted scout for the most part. Since me as a Pyro, I can typically deal well on a 1v1 against the scout. I have about 50% chance of beating him, I would say. I overextended that here, but that's fine. They end up running the same as we do, and their Demoman just ends up going pretty well. Our Uber ends up dealing a lot better with their vaccinator. Their Demoman overextends, and we get some free area. And since we're doing 2 damage sources to them, it's kind of hard to keep track of both of them, but they do get out a lot, so they're still not a big of a deal. Although apparently their medic just went down. But we're really overextended at this point, so I'm really scared we're going to die. And our medic just dropped, and our government did, and I wasn't anywhere nearby. So I'm running to try to assist them, and I, for the most part, I do get the scout, but I'm just going to die here. But it's going to be to the Pyro, not to the medic. But I probably would have died to the medic regardless, because I was just in such bad shape. And the medic has a Blitzauger anyway, so they're more combat prepared than your average medic. They're able to survive a lot more. For the most part, we have a bit of a desync at this point. We're about halfway in and halfway out. Our scout's completely engaged. I'm behind our lines. Our doom is just kind of near the point. Luckily, we end up doing okay. I'm really far out here. I thought about going after the scout, but I was too slow on it. So I run away, and then our scout just beats their scout in 1v1 and instantly dies to their demo man. So we're at an even trade here. Though they're running soldiers, so they do have more damage output than us. I have more control than they do, though. And I do have a decent amount of damage output as Pyro. So the scout ends up attacking me right now, and it's a real pain in the ass while doing this. So I end up dying, but we end up having a mover that goes out, so we end up having some decent strength here. At this point, I feel like I'm doing okay. Personally, I'm not DMing very well. I could be doing better in that regard. But, you know, I'm playing decently. We're winning. It's okay. I don't have much of an issue with that. Our scout kind of carried us that round, so it was okay. At this point, I would say this is where things begin to start going a bit wrong. They're going to be running Soldier Scout Domain to mid this time. And it's just not going to work out for us. Our demo man is going to die to start off with. I'm not going to do too long. I'm pretty sure our demo man does. Yeah, he ends up dying. So at this point, I'm faced with a dilemma. I kind of have to retreat with 3 people shooting at me, and it's really tough to do. So luckily our med kind of gets out. I would have backed it more if I was the med, honestly. But our med does pick the scout, which prevents the medic from pretty much dying, because they can't really push that far in. Well, they could, but they don't for some reason. So at this point, I'm pretty much left with in a situation where they have more mobility and damage on us. So I have to play really interestingly, and I'm not playing correctly. I'm not playing in front of people, and they end up running a sniper, which catches me completely off guard and gets me killed. But luckily, I consider my life traded. Also, that's the most awesome shot I've seen in a while. Our med got a really cool crossbow on that med. But yeah, for the most part, I don't catch the sniper switch at this point, and that caused my death. But I figure if I trade for the demo man, typically that's okay. I felt like my life wasn't too valuable, and I think that's a mistake thinking in 4v4, because unlike Highlander on King of the Hill where your life really isn't too valuable as Pyro, in 4v4 you're a major damage source as Pyro, and I'm not taking on very long at this point. I'll keep on that, but so I get Ubered here, and I'm not expecting it. You can tell because I was backing up initially. So I expected I was actually going to get Ubered the entire time, and the medic pretty much instantly ran back and then was still rolling over me. So this medic doesn't know how to play with me. Because I definitely would have got that demo man had I had a little bit more vulnerability time on him. And I probably would have got the medic, and the scout would have ran up behind and I would have got him too. But for the most part, I'm kind of worried. I'm just staying back for our medic at this point. We switch off to a sniper, thinking that will help us out a bit, or just, I'm not sure why we switch, because I think our biggest issue is scouts. But they just end up printing into us and killing us all anyways. And the scout comes from behind and kills off the sniper, so the sniper's completely useless. And I'm pretty much left to play aggressively and try to get some cap time on this gun, opening up the gun man. He's respawned after the hits. But I have a little bit of issues dealing with this soldier. Sigafu currently is running a really really tanky soldier loadout with the black box and being toxic, so it's really hard to kill for me. I'm just kind of making our soldier go quicker at this point, because I don't think he wants to waste health on rock or something. And I run right into a sticky trap, which I'm a dumbass for doing, but that happens. Our medic is kind of isolated at this point. My demo is really laggy for some reason, I don't know why.
Mission ends in 60 seconds.
But we're just having a lot of issues right now. We don't have any kind of coordination going in. I want to go in right now. I can tell by the pose I'm doing, but I'm watching the scout. At that point, the soldier starts to bomb in on us, and I'm just kind of worried. I think the scout just runs in anyways, or something like that. But our med isn't going to be left alone. I think our first free to drop the time, if anything. Oh no, the scout goes after a demo man. And the demo man dies to the soldier. He's kind of a pain in the ass. Because I'm left here pretty much DMing against all these guys, and Sigafood is up behind us, living hell. And I'm really doing a bad job of watching my ammo. I can do that a lot better. But for the most part, they have a charge right now. I'm pretty sure it's not us. So they're coming with a close food. So my first instinct is to run in on it. And honestly, I do a bad job. He fired a pill at me, which means I should have reflected in his face. Our gentleman just, we can't do anything about that. And then we don't have enough time to get to their cap. So we're just going to end up losing this point. And we're going to end up losing the round. Plus our scout kind of ran in an inefficient way, but regardless, they had 2 guys in the cap. Our scout would have had to run right in and we just let him die. So there's no surprise there. For the most part, mids are just kind of tough. It's currently 2-1 in our favor. So luckily we're up around, but things are kind of rough. I instantly run at the dump man and I do a lot of damage to him. I'm probably gonna get him. I think I get him, yeah. But for the most part, since I had a scout shooting at me, there was no way I was gonna live through that. But like I said, I feel like a trade on me from the demo is perfectly fine because the demo man does more damage. But that's probably not a good trade in our situation because they can just crits on us and they just wipe our team with crits. Luckily our medic gets out and we have 75% of a charge. So we'll be in a good position to start up later. Now I know there's a sticky trap on the door and I'm just opening it to try to get him to bait the sticky detonation.
We have lost control.
I'm just staying up here because I know there's no sticky trap up there, and I know since they're a soldier and I don't know, they can't do anything to me. At this point I'm actually getting lagged, so just something not to really look out. Our medic pops on me, I get some health, and I instantly run to where I think they are. But that ends up being a mistake, because I run right into a scout who 2-shots me. And our team is over here not dealing with that at all, instead they're focusing on the soldiers who's behind them. Which I understand why they would do that. The soldier popped the Uber, so they won't want to do that. But I just typically have an aggressive mindset. I prefer to go after 3 people. But at the same time, Sigafu is really carrying him in this game. So he's doing a good job and whatnot. And I'm having trouble kind of reflecting his stuff and dealing with him as a whole. But I think a lot of that's due to the fact that their scouts on me a lot too. So for the most part, I'm just trying to be about as harassy as possible, be about as annoying as I can, and keep some people pinned back. Right now, I don't expect to keep that soldier pinned back, but he currently is, so I'm kind of lucky. But the moment I get out of there, he instantly jumps on medic, and they end up critting. So I see the crit sticky, and I run right to the medic, and the medic crits the scout and kills me, rather than killing the medic, so currently we're just kind of in a really bad position. Our scout has to do all the DM work here. Luckily I spawned with the medic so we can get a little bit of charge. We're running crit streak at this point because we're realizing, hey, we're not getting any charges up. So we should do that. And it ends up going okay. I'm just trying to pressure the point here. I have a lot of presence and they don't want to get in on me, pretty much. Because see, I just do a lot of damage there. Me and I can just deal with the soldier and the scout just by myself. The scout typically does it. I guess he does a good bit of work. But I had no ammo at this point, and we managed to cap, but at this point they've taken 2 minutes off of us, and I think our medic is down. So we're not in the best position by any means. So for the most part, no one went back to get the medic. It was really long charge, and they're gonna have a charge pretty soon. I wanted to reflect rocket jump right now. That's the first thing that's on my mind, because this is an ample opportunity. But then the soldier jumps, and I kind of ruined the opportunity. I would need him to shoot from bats to really have a realistic shot at rocket jumping. I'm having some trouble deflecting the pipes, because I'm terrible at deflecting pipes for some reason. And then the crits creep, we end up all just moving in the same position and getting taken out by a single crit sticking. I probably would have died regardless, but the other two guys could have probably split up. So we have a scout behind us, a minute left in the cap, and they have a charge advantage on us. We're pretty much up shit creek. So things aren't going our way, and it's kind of going to be probably going to be this round at this point. I'm running out there trying to be all DME, and the soldier's behind us, and he just takes us all out. So at this point, there's no way in hell that we're actually going to end up winning this round. Bar a miracle. Or something like I reflect a crate hill back into all three of them or something, and then the whole like spawn camp style for a while. But we're not going to be able to have too much of that luxury probably, and there's not too much to go. At this point, we do a smart thing and we focus the Conqueror soldier immediately, but they just have such an advantage and a scout behind us that we just can't do a thing. Now at this point, I'm going to start pausing the playback a bit to illustrate certain points whenever they come up, because I feel this round is really important to emphasize. Because I feel like I do a lot of good things this round, and I really need to bring them up. Start off with, we're all running through the middle area in this point. We're getting in there about as quick as we can with the Pyro. I accidentally reflect the sticky into our scout, but that's not something good. I'm worried about the soldiers jumping onto that riot platform, and then I instantly run from them on the medic. So at this point, I just picked their combo. And our combo is also been picked by the scout. That's the trade-off with having the Pyro running on that. Whereas I'll have a lot of reliability with actually getting the combo. If it's just a demo man and a medic. The thing is, if that leaves us with no close range deterrent for our demo man. So the scout's the same opportunity. So we capped the point, and I just back up. I'm not going to do anything here to bother with anything. My ammo is low, I'm just trying to find some stuff, and I think we're just going to cede the gap to them, or I'm going to push them back. I'm not quite sure what happens. But at this point, I'm pretty sure our medic's going to die to that soldier, so I'm just trying to keep the soldier off. And I'm just doing whatever I can to not die to the soldier while I do that. I don't die to the soldier, but it's kind of tough to keep up with all that stuff. So I guess our medic he's really aggressive for some reason, and that's not something in our favor. But we do have a point, so if he lives to this, it's fine. But he doesn't. He goes down to the dome at this point. So I'm alone. So you'll just see me hanging out around spawn. I can't push in there alone. I just can't. I'm much more effective in situations where I'm pushing in front of someone who can do more damage than me. Like in the case of a demo man. I go at this because there's no way in hell they're sticky trapping that. And then I just go up to the left side because I figure that's where it's staying. Alright, I pause here to make an illustration of a point in DM. Now, first off, I reflect a rocket into him and I shoot a flare at his feet. I'm going to note that right here. He's flying upwards. So the big thing I'm going to note here is he's going to be coming down pretty soon. And after time, you'll learn about how long it is. But the thing is, when he's coming down, he's going to have a really, really easy rocket timing. And that's when he's going to be right about in this area right here. Basically, that's the only opportunity where he gets a safe rocket to fire at you. So you want to take this opportunity and just kill him with it. And just like that. It's really illustrative, and if you can ever launch a soldier up through a doorway, I can guarantee you that that's when they're going to fire. If they want to hit you, that is. Now, saying that, I guess some soldiers nowadays, if they watch this video, will now start to shoot the apex of the jump, because I'm not going to do that. But actually, at that point, you can also reflect it, because then it's in the side reflect range. And you just have a lot of opportunity to do things. So we push up forward now. We're really confident and that kind of stuff. And then they just end up pushing the other way. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, I have nothing I can do. I end up going after the scout because the scout's giving us a lot of hell, but our team ends up dying behind them. So either I have the opportunity to spawn camp them, or I can go in and pressure them on the point. And honestly, what I should have done is probably spawn camped and then gone for the point pressure whenever my team was there. But I'm a ballsy player, and I decided to try to go for the medic, and it didn't work out.
We have lost the control point.
But I wasn't thinking very much, and it was my first 4v4, and I'm not very coordinated with this team quite yet. So I don't have quite that coordination of thinking, oh, these guys are going to go in. They hit their conquer, and they're just going to wipe our team. The medic's not going to be able to escape the conquer. Hold up, this is I'm going to illustrate this point by saying sometimes you get a lot of luck, but the thing is, whenever I'm thinking in this situation, there's a conqueror soldier, and I'm really concerned about him. I want to take him out as quick as possible. So the quickest thing I can do is just go into him and reflect the rock and do that kind of stuff. But you're going to see I get kind of lucky. And I wiped their team. That was mostly luck. The luck came from the pipe that the demo man fired, but I knew the soldier was gonna fire at that point anyways, because the soldier had just seen me, and Sigafu is a soldier who doesn't delay his first rocket. That's something I've noticed in this. When he's easily pressured into firing his rockets in a very predictable pattern. So that's like a weakness that he has on the soldier whenever it comes to fighting fires in this environment. Again, I'm having a lot of issue with the scout at this point. I think that's just because I'm focusing too hard on the demo man. I could be focusing a bit more on the scout and killing him a lot more, and I think I should be doing that in future 4v4s. But for the most part, we're going to lose the point. That's fine. We're at 45 seconds, so if we recap, we pretty much have it. And we've got a minute 30 to recap. And they don't have too many people up. Our scout goes down, but I'm not too concerned. I just want to deal with the demo man. But the scout is brushing us and it denies our push. And our demo man's just gonna, I think he backs out. But our medic died, and our scout's gonna run in there with our demo man. And it's not gonna work out too well, I think. I'm waiting for our medics to spawn. I'm really concerned about them. So at this point, we've got 50 seconds left. We switch back to the vaccinated because, like we say, they have a lot of damage resistance problems. We currently have one bullet resistance for some reason. I guess it's just the scout. Basically, I'm just trying to pressure as much as I can. Since I have bullet resistance on, I'm dealing with the scout. Because I know if we get the scout out of the way, we're going to just wipe him. And in that fight, I'm going to actually rewind this a bit as soon as I get off this guy. Because I want to actually talk about that, and I completely messed that. 1 second. Okay. I completely missed talking about that. So this is another thing dealing with soldiers and fighting them that you need to anticipate, because there's a little bit of subtlety that went on with that crit screen, and a lot of it actually had to do with the fact that it was a crit screen. Sorry for the sound of this. I shouldn't have missed that. Anyways, damn it, the volume's wrong. Okay, anyways, so what happens here is I'm gonna wait until I deal with the scout again. We're gonna go through this push again, completely normal. I'm trying to pressure, do all this fancy stuff. So I go back to the scout, and that's my pause. Okay, good. So the soldier is right here. He has Conquer, and he has a crit scree. So since he first sees our combo, he's obviously going to fire a shot very soon. So I take that, I reflect it, and I kill the double man. So the thing is, most soldiers don't just hold down M1 because it's a very predictable pattern. So, for the most part, I don't default to that. When you have a crit screen and you're dealing with a pyro, you especially as a soldier don't want the pyro to reflect your crit screen rockets in you. So you're going to try to stutter your pattern. Unfortunately, this can make it more predictable. And for the most part, I'm actually in range right here where I can actually sight reflect it somewhat, but at the same time, my only goal is to keep them away from me. So two things factor into this, and one is that the soldier right here ends up firing at the same time I air blast. That's partially due to luck, because I'm not actually trying to reflect this rocket, but at the same time I delayed it a good bit enough to where if he did if he was on a normal kind of pattern, which he kind of is, I did have an opportunity to reflect his rocket. And I'm not aiming to kill him by any means with it, so it ends up missing. And since we end up having the vaccinator, it doesn't even matter, since we could just pop that and we have negation from crits anyways. But for the most part, when dealing with crit streaks and soldiers and whatnot, they're always going to fire a rocket really quickly initially, and then they're probably going to delay their future rockets if you reflect the first one. If you don't reflect the first one, you're just dead. So we'll fire them quickly. So this is something. If you want to work on patterns like that, that's the only time where I'd recommend actually facing like a soldier in the MTV, because they'll actively delay rockets and stuff like that. But you can probably get similar results by playing in a good pub. Now we're gonna just die right here, but all we have to do is stop him on the cap. So it comes down to our demo man mostly. If the demo man can do enough damage and stop him, our demo man dies. But for the most part, it left just a medic, and so I can fight off a medic generally no problem. But I almost died in this medic, so that's almost the most humiliating thing that could happen, because that means we may have lost. Rule of advice: if you have a Blitzager and you're fighting a Pyro, don't switch to melee. Keep your Blitzager out, just reload it. Stay out of flamethrower range when you're reloading, and you'll be perfectly fine. And things will go your way. So for the most part, that's the first 4v4 I've ever been in, and I cover some interesting things with guys on Pyro that I hope you can learn. And you know, I hope to do more of these demo reviews and upload them to my channel, simply because they don't take too much time. And you know what? I figure that's good. We played another half to that, but it only went one more round, and it wasn't too interesting. So I'm not going to go and bother with that one. So for the most part, I want to say thank you for watching.